Hi, third graders. For math today, we are going to look more deeply at arrays and how those arrays can help us. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to look at a few things. Okay. So I'm going to first focus in again on these important vocabulary words to know as a mathematician. We have our columns and our rows. I want you to think back to the other day when we talked about all of our examples that can help us remember which is which. We have rows and we have our columns. Together they make an array. This array that is an organized rectangle or square made up of shapes or tiles. We are getting ready for multiplication. And so all of this work with arrays is really preparing us for multiplication, but we're not going to use the word times yet, and we're not going to actually multiply yet. We are just going to work on our repeated addition and building arrays so that we can get ready for that big step. Remember, this is new content, so if it's confusing to you, that's okay. We want to use the term groups of when working with these arrays. So here we have 4 groups of 4. If I'm looking at my rows and my columns, I can easily see those groups. I can see that I have 4, 4, 4, and 4. So I have 4 donuts in each row. And then I also have 4 donuts in each column. There are 4 groups, each with 4 in them, 4 groups of 4. 4 rows and 4 columns. Now, as we've talked about before, I can use repeated addition to find the total number of donuts in my array. 4 plus 4, I know that's 8. Plus another 4 would be 12. And then one more 4 would be 16. What that looks like with my repeated addition to figure out how many are in my array in total is this: 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. Repeated addition to show how many donuts are in my array total. This array shows us 2 groups of 4 or 4 groups of 2. It's the same thing. I can either look and I can see that there are 2 groups, each with 4 stars in it. That's me looking at the rows. Each row or group has 4 stars in it. If I wanted to look at the columns, I would notice that each column or group has 2 stars in it. 2 groups of 4 or 4 groups of 2. 4 columns and 2 rows. Either way, I can use my repeated addition to figure out that there's 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 equaling a total of 8 stars in my array total. Here I have 5 groups of 4. My first group of 4, when I look at the first row, my second group of 4, my third group of 4, my fourth group of 4, and my fifth group of 4. There are 5 rows, each with 4 circles in it, 5 groups of 4. Or I can look at it the other way by looking at my columns. Here's my first group of 5, my second group of 5, my third group of 5, and finally my fourth group of 5. There are 4 columns, each with 5 circles in it, 4 columns and 5 rows. Now I want you to pause the video when I am done explaining this problem to you. How many groups of how many? That's confusing. So how many groups of apples do you see, and how many are in each group? I want you to go ahead and pause and try and solve this. How many groups do you see, and how many apples are in each group. If you have not paused this to solve yet, please do. Okay, I hope that you've unpaused and you wrote down that there are 4 groups of 3 or 3 groups of 4. This next one I'm not going to give you the answer to. Blank groups of blank. How many groups with how many circles in each? I want you to answer that, and then I want you to answer how many dots total are in this array. Go ahead and pause to solve. When you are done, you have to send me a picture in my inbox of your work. I hope that this is starting to excite you and starting to make a little bit more sense. All of these skills are going to be so helpful when we finally get to multiplication.